Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, I have to ask this question because I've never seen anything like this. But this is the coming apocalypse, and I really mean that. And I'm Pastor Paul Begley, and you guys are, I'm sure you're aware now. There's nobody working at the restaurant, no cooks, no waitresses. We can't, they say there's not enough truck drivers, there's not enough staff in the hospitals. We can't find people anywhere to do anything. The shelves are going empty. Food prices are soaring. Energy prices are soaring. They're running out of coal to run the electric plants in several nations. How can this all be happening simultaneously? Is this the end of the world? Or is there something more sinister behind all this? And we really need some answers. And how do we keep ourselves healthy when you're struggling to find balanced foods? So, and what about all of the, how do you do it? We need Ronnie McMullen to come and help us from getthetea.com. That's www.getthetea.com. Ronnie, welcome to the broadcast.
How are you, Paul?
Well, after spending hours in the airport because there was no staff working, lost, and having to help people unload people in wheelchairs because there was no workers till 3:30 in the morning. Not real good, Ronnie. Not real good.
A little tired, are you?
Very much.
It's a travesty what's happening to our nation right now. To the so-called leaders that are planning the directions that we go, thinking that what their decisions are our decisions, when in fact they're totally opposite. And we're supposed to just bow down and say this is great, even though everything is completely botched up, in my opinion. And what do we do? What do we do? Do we lay down and take the whipping? Or do we stand up and say no?
Don't you?
And I think
are we coming to that?
Away.
Yeah, are we?
What's that?
Are we coming to that? Is that what's happening? We're coming to that realization.
We are coming to a realization that you either give your power away or you keep it. And what decision are you going to make? Everything's corrupt. It reminds me of Sodom and they basically, Sodom and Gomorrah, supposedly everybody has this idea there was a big sex problem, and that's really not the basis of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was more about what's right is wrong, and what wrong is right.
That's exactly right.
We're in the same place here in the United States today, and maybe in other countries too, I don't know, but I know in the United States what's wrong is right, what's right is wrong. Well, there is no left and right, there just is.
You're exactly right. I mean, let's just talk about energy first. Food prices are soaring, and we're going to get to that, folks, but just energy alone. Oil is skyrocketing. Of course, there were so many dumb decisions made, like stop drilling, rejoin the Paris Climate Accords, cut back on carbon footprints, shut down the coal industries in West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. These coal miners did more than just supply the electric power plants in America. They were supplying the power plants of the world. And by shutting that down, now they're running out of coal everywhere, running out of gas everywhere. Russia doesn't really want to let stuff go through the pipeline very much, so they're squeezing Europe. We're watching natural gas, oil, coal, energy costs are going to go. This winter, it's going to be a cold, dark winter, Ronnie. There's going to be a lot of countries' power going off and homes setting in the cold, not only in America, but all over the world. No one has a plan. No one's addressing it. Why isn't the United Nations holding an emergency Security Council immediate meetings on what are we going to do here? What have we done? What are we doing?
Because they're kind of at the top of the corruptness.
Yeah.
One corrupt leader to another. And what we're having, there is no shortages.
No.
There's a change. There's a change of, I'm not going to do the work. The people coming into the businesses calling the shots. This is what you're going to do. And people saying, oh, but that's totally wrong. Well, this is what you're going to do or else.
Yep.
You're either going to take care of what we say to do or you're going to lose your job.
Yep, period.
End of story. We
Doesn't-
don't care how many years you've worked, how great you've been on time. None of this matters. Do what we say or lose your job.
And some people,
are going, it's their well-being, Paul.
I know.
It's like they go, well, geez, I've got family, I got kids to feed.
They don't care. There's no compassion.
No, there's no compassion, because the enemy has no compassion.
Right.
The enemy just says, get it again, do them again, do them again.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but
No.
we've been talking about this for months.
It's getting worse.
It's all coming to a head.
You don't see it getting better, and we're not being doom and gloom. I mean, we're just reporting what's actually happening. Ronnie, I was sitting there in Cincinnati, Ohio, on a plane where the pilot said, sorry, we're done. We can't work anymore. There's no one else here to fly the plane. We're leaving. And then the stewardess says, well, guess what? There's no one in the Cincinnati airport. There's no one working for Southwest here. No one. So nobody's here to help you people figure out how we're going to reroute you. It's 8:30 in the evening. It's not 2:30 in the morning. You know, I mean, this is 8:30. Everyone's gone home. Nobody, there's no plan, no executives turning. What are you going to do? We got some lady who was paralyzed, a quadriplegic. And there's no one coming down with the lifts to get her off the plane. So the passengers are getting her off the plane. We're nowhere to go. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the plan? There was no plan. See you guys tomorrow morning when the airport opens, I guess. And
well, you have two things. We were told this back in the 60s. There's chaos and there's control. You got to get smart. So
yeah,
they want us to have chaos.
So what's next? If energy availability of, forget Christmas. I mean, some people are worried about Christmas. You don't worry about Christmas. Worry about getting through the winter. The food, the shelves are going to go empty, Ronnie, and people are going, and prices are going to go sky high. Do you see a reason for it? I mean, is it?
Yeah, corruption. People with corruption, people that have promised their souls to other people or promised their soul to the devil. And that sounds cheesy. That sounds like a cheesy answer. Oh, you sold your soul out to the devil. But really, it's true.
In this case, it's actually real.
It's really real. Because how can you say, I mean, you look at what the next few months ahead. So we're right in almost the middle of October. So let's talk about Thanksgiving. We are truly going to be in a thankful place if we're able to eat and able to do and able to have.
Right.
Things are changing drastically. And this is not counting. What we're talking about is just the aspects of what's going on. We're not talking about what's coming, like an economy crash.
Exactly.
And I've been talking about this economy crash for months. We've discussed it here on this channel. Months.
Yep.
And it's just right around the corner. These shortages in lumber, these shortages in food, there's no shortage. They're being confiscated by someone else.
Yes.
They're sitting somewhere else.
Yes.
And as long as they hold, or I should say withhold, product from the American public, and this could be from the world, as long as they withhold the product from the people, they control the people. And I remember the New World Order boys talking about you control people by their stomach, which means the food supply. And why are people building houses during this climate right now? It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't buy a piece of property and build a house right now if you paid me double.
Right.
Because it's going to fall.
Look at the stock market. It's still up there. And I'm asking myself, that's an illusion. You can't It can't stay there with the country going to hell in a handbasket every day. The average person, look at the homelessness. Look at the lack of health care. Pretty soon, Ronnie, I just heard this. Prescriptions, you got half of America, you got 3/4 of America on a lot of medicine, okay? All of a sudden, they're not going to be able to get their meds. You talk about control of food, control of the meds, control of the energy. This and our school systems have gone absolutely to hell. There's nothing there. And they're not teaching anything anyway. This thing is in trouble. Does the average American really, or the average person in the world really realize it yet? Or is it,
No.
is about, are we 60 days away before they really get whacked? You know,
It could be 30 days away, 60, 90. I do think it's going to be 30 to 60, but you know, we're in a place where it's a snowball effect.
yeah.
It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And people are still at, let's just do what they say. And notice my words, they.
Right.
Do what they say. We need to stop, well, you need to follow your leaders. I mean, there are preachers preaching, follow your leaders.
I know.
And it's like, what are you talking about? What if they're false leaders? What if they're wolf in sheep's clothing? Do we follow that?
And have you ever seen, Ronnie, guys, this is Ronnie McMullen, all right, getthetea.com. I mean, I've got indigestion at this point, okay? Bowel syndrome. I got, everything is constipated. I mean, this is the time, isn't it, Ronnie, to getthetea.com. I mean, this is enough stuff. This, people, and I'm not joking about this, people's health is being affected by the worry. And does that affect your health?
It takes your immune system, and they know this. Fear takes your immune system down. So if you're sitting in Cincinnati and you have nowhere to go and nobody to help you, does that create fear? Yes. And then, so what happens to your immune system? Bam, you hit. This is why the mass media, they tell us things that 90% of it's not true, and we're supposed to just sit there and watch the mass media and feel good. It doesn't happen. People are full of fear because they've never, and you could talk to the average person. I don't care if you go to Costco or Safeway. You can talk to the average person and say, have you ever seen the world like this before? You can talk to older people, you can talk to younger people, and everybody says no.
It's worse. There's worse scenario building right now than the Great Depression. It's worst scenario right now of not knowing where we're going than during World War II. Am I right?
Yes, and people think, oh, the grocery stores will save me. Those grocery stores will empty within 4 or 5 hours.
Just think of a snowstorm.
There won't be trucks to fill them back up.
No.
Because there won't be truck drivers. Because there won't be product to fill the trucks.
Nope.
So this is, and I've been talking about this for a long time. We have leaders making decisions that are based on their pocketbook.
Instead of the good, for the good of the people. We have, so folks, this is Ronnie McMullen, getthetea.com. You know, you could place an order there. You should go to his website, getthetea.com. That's www.getthetea.com. Check out all of the great products he has to help supplement your health needs, your food intake. You're not going to be eating the same thing that you've been eating, because the stuff you've been eating, you're not going to find. You're going to be almost like, I almost hate to say this, a Somalia effect is coming to America, and that is lack of nutrition. You better figure out a way how to protect yourself, and Ronnie can help you with that. And so you could pick up the phone right now and call Ronnie at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And start looking at some of the supplements and some of the different things. The tea obviously is so good and healthy. It all starts in the gut. But let him help you with these needs. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Ronnie, our government, have you ever seen anything like this? I mean,
we don't have government.
Is there any, I mean, when Vice President...
We have nobody governing us. We have nobody that cares. We do not have, as the Bible would say, we do not have a good king. We have a bad king. And as long as we have a bad king, we're doomed.
You know, Vice President Kamala Harris, they just announced that, you know, she used kids, child actors, to pretend that she was spending time teaching them about NASA and going to the space. She's not going down to the border. She's not going to some of the other areas that are really vulnerable. We're not going to the homeless. We're not looking at the healthcare situation. We're not addressing the firing of police officers across the country or nurses. They were healthcare heroes a year ago. Today, get out of here. So
today you're fired if you don't follow the narrative.
Right. So what in the world? And like you said, we don't know where Joe Biden's at. Build Back Better. Are you serious? And then Pelosi and really the whole thing. Republicans, Democrats alike. I've never seen anything like the incompetency, and there's no urgency. Nobody's standing up on the steps saying, we got to do something. This is insane. Ronnie, what's going on?
Well, there is a few small little organizations that are trying to do stuff. And of course, because of what we're doing, I can't mention their names. But you can search and you can find there are little areas and little outlets where we can make our voice be heard, where we can stand up against this tyranny. It's flipping tyranny. We got to stand up against it. We got to say no. And the one thing that I noticed that the enemy, and in fact, there was a book written, The Enemy Within. Yeah. The enemy is literally in our camp. So one thing the enemy cannot stand is love and compassion. Can't stand it. Eats them alive. It's like muriatic acid on the body. So we've got to somehow keep our cool and not be on the streets with pickets and throwing fits and cussing and that doesn't help us.
I like what you're saying here. Do you believe the American people will actually figure out a way to rally around each other and say, hey, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Who needs what, and how can we all work together? Do you see that going to happen in some communities?
Yes,
I do too.
Yes, it's forming right now.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Let's turn the hopeless into hope.
Okay.
Don't forget we have retired generals, we have retired snipers, we have lot of retired people that know what they're doing and have a background of what the enemy has been doing. So the enemy really, and I think the enemy knows this. They have their pants around their ankles, very uncomfortable. So things are forming right now, but because they've got to keep things quiet, not everybody knows about it.
Right.
So the positive of this is we have some people that are true heroes. They're going to step out of the woodwork and make their actions known in due time.
And don't you think also, and I'm starting to sense this now, where the communities of people, average families and the average people out here are saying, okay, you short on some stuff, I got some stuff over here. Yeah. Let's work together. Who else do you know? We got somebody sick over here. Do you got anything you can help them with, or are you short? Do you have any more food left in your freezer? I got some left from a cow. This is starting to happen now because I think, and people like me are going, I'm going to be looking around at families. I'm going to be looking at children. I'm going to be saying, how can I get some meat, get some food into the neighbors down the road and these other kids I know? How can I do that? I don't need it. I need to go on a diet. How can I do that? So don't you think we're going to see some of that stuff going on?
It's already happening. And yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because Costco's going to be emptied in a day. The grocery store in hours. Right now, just look at the grocery stores. They're probably 35% down in product right now. Freezers are empty. Meat is, barely there. And what's going to happen is I've been preaching for I don't know how long, how many months or how many years, eat organic. Well, organic's going to be the first one to go bye-bye.
First one to go. It's matter of fact, I was in
because it's too small.
I was in the Kroger not long ago. And they always had this one little section. Okay, less than 8% of the store is organic in this corner.
Right.
And it's not all 100% organic, but let's just say it is. I was in there the other day. That little corner's gone now. Okay? Yep. It's not there. There's not an organic section.
Right.
That's the hardest to get there in. And so really, if you want organic food, you're going to have to turn to the farms. You're going to have to turn to the farmers and actually purchase from them direct. Forget everybody else. You're going to have to go direct. That's what I'm doing. I know a lot of people are turning that way, and it's going to get tough. The people in the cities, and Ronnie, water will run out. I'm talking about bottled water. Forget it. It's going to go away. You know this is going to happen. No delivery.
Yes. And let's not forget about the executive orders that Clinton signed, basically that says they can take away your tractor. Your tractor. They've known this for a long time, but people have been sleeping. They've been letting officials, so-called officials, be in certain offices in certain places. And this is the time. Part of this, Paul, and people are not going to like me for saying this, part of this is our own fault.
I know.
We've allowed this to take place.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be violent. We just need to have a voice.
Have a voice.
Just a voice.
and begin to reorganize and to begin to saying, look, this isn't going to work, and have a voice, and yet be cool headed. I like what you said. Stay cool headed, and just silently, quietly work together and start figuring out how we're going to manage this thing, and then start moving forward. And there's people who can do that out there. Then there's people who are already, as you said, already working toward it. Folks, Ronnie McMullen's with us. GetTheTea.com, www.getthetea.com. Best tasting tea, by the way. I love the tea. It's great for you, and really cleans out your system. It helps maintain your health, cleanse your body from those intruders, the enemy within, okay? And also helps maintain a healthy colon, and that's one of the leading causes of death is colon cancer, and that partly becomes because people don't cleanse their system, their digestive system, and also help with weight as well. And Ronnie, I just want to bring it up, GI Joy and Coral C,
Coral C, which is from Japan. Very, very, coral calcium is something very important, and vitamin C is obviously very important, so put it together in one. And we got a special for all your viewers.
Okay.
And this goes for the specials, but basically, if you spend $20 at my store, getthetea.com, $20, I'm going to give you free shipping by putting Paul in the coupon code. But let's sweeten the deal. How about an extra $5 off?
Wow.
So $5 off and free shipping just by putting Paul in the coupon code, hit apply, and you can do it. So at least $20 at the store, buying whatever the heck you want, and you're going to get $5 off your order plus free shipping.
Wow. So, you really are going the extra mile here to try to help people during this time.
Yeah, people are running out of product, and I'm putting things on sale. So call me crazy, call me good, call me whatever you want to call me. Call me Joe. But the long and the short of it is, if we're gonna get to as bad to a place that we die, let's die a hero. I always think of the Batman. The Batman doesn't go kick everybody's butt. He picks his war with a certain area and takes care of that. So whatever that is, we need to kind of get rid of our leaders, vote them out, throw them out. I don't know the processes of politics. I'm not good at that. But we've allowed this to happen. So can we change it? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. It's happened before, and it certainly will have to happen again.
Yes.
For this nation. Ronnie, also, I think that when you start talking about these shortages of food and what have you, people, like I said, we've seen large sections of China, the power went out. Pakistan, India. The natural gas is so high in Europe, they're never going to keep every house warm. It's not going to happen. And there's been so many bad policies, and we could blame on all the policies, but really it's our fault. I'm glad you said it that way. We've allowed this imploding, greed-filled, incompetent, demonically driven government and governments of the world to take us down this road of control out of chaos. We see it coming. Oh, by the way, they want to raise taxes. And don't believe this, 400, only those of you making 400,000 or more are going to be taxed. They're going to tax everything. They're taxing everything. Oh, no. So, Ronnie, workers, okay, if people can't get the normal things they normally eat, what should they look for to eat? And I know the supplements you have is really important to get to help with the nutrition of your diet, but what do you think they should do here?
Well, I think it's just my opinion. You should make sure that you have some water at the house. If you can still get that, that'd be good. Make sure you have water. Make sure you have, some canned foods. Some people are doing the whole stocking of the, good foods good for 10 or 20 years. I don't know what they call it, and that's okay. I don't think we're going to be 10 years in the hole. I think we got 3 or 4 months. I think we're going to see drastic changes. negative and positive. The wild thing that's crazy, Paul, is if we don't like this area, we say, oh, well, I'm just going to go. And you can't go anywhere because it's happening to other countries.
There's nowhere to go.
That's the difference. There's nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
And so I was born on this Titanic ship, and I'm going to go down with the Titanic ship. If it goes down, I'm going down.
Yep.
I'm not going to bail and jump ship.
There's nowhere to go.
And to me, it's like, if we're going to get taken away, let's die a hero. And that's taking care of somebody next to you.
That's right. You know, you think about this, folks, you'll say, well, maybe I'll go get an electric car. Okay. Well, could you imagine tomorrow if everyone drove an electric car?
You think?
Everybody would have to plug them in at night, right? Well, when you plug them in, that many people plugged into the grid would blow the grid. And you got to have a ton of coal. You would have to have tons and tons of coal feeding the electric system to charge all the little car batteries. And, well, who's going to go mine the coal? I thought it was dirty energy. Well, people don't understand, energy is energy. Either you burn it, wood, coal, or gas, you blow it, you absorb it, you pump it out of the ground, or whatever you want to do. But energy makes energy. And if you can't just turn the big ship and all of a sudden say, we're going to this, you can't do it. Look, we can't even get food shipped on a boat. What used to be a 2-week lead time is now becoming a 2.5-month lead time. Containers to get if you're a company and you had to get a whole container order shipped to you, let's say from Japan or somewhere, it cost you $2,000 a load. Now it's $20,000.
Well, ask Elon Musk if he cares, because he doesn't. Mr. Tesla doesn't care. All these big boys that have made billions of dollars, sometimes trillions of dollars, Bezos with his Amazon. But do we say, let's cut Bezos down? Let's not let's have a couple days where we don't order anything on Amazon. We shut it down. Can you imagine 2 days of no sales for Amazon?
It'd be disastrous.
It'd get his attention.
Yeah.
What if we did the same thing with Tesla? What if we did? And my point is, we still have power, but we're not combining.
We're not organized. We're not organized, right?
Correct. And that's all peaceful.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while we're talking, gas prices are going up. So what do we do about it? We need to take our power back. We need to pick. We can't say, I'll never buy gasoline again, but you could say, let's just target Shell Oil and just say, or let's just target BP and just nobody buys gas at BP. They'd be toast.
Yeah.
All we have to do is organize. Because let me tell you something, some of these corporates, unfortunately, are running our government.
Yeah, they are. Matter of fact, actually, and I did a series on this on a webinar for Steve Quayle, that the Bible talks about these 10 kings in the last days that will answer to the Antichrist. And I've said to people, they aren't presidents of nations. They are corporate power moguls. They're who's in charge of all the pharmaceuticals in the world, who's in charge of all the distribution in the world, who's in charge of the mega media of the world, who's in charge and just go down the line, you can find 10 of them. Who's in charge of the industrial military complex, who do boom, boom, boom. And after a while, you come up with 10 guys who basically can buy countries. They are running the world. They are the kings. And so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a good point. And, just like all the boats sitting in the water with full containers, is that because there's nobody to unload them? That's not true at all.
No.
It's because as long as they hold back, we starve. As long as we starve, they're in control.
It gets worse. The price keeps going higher. The demand, the situation gets more desperate. Truck drivers no longer can sit in an empty truck waiting for somebody to put something on it. They got to go do something else because the kids back home still got to eat. Abandon the truck, can't make the payment on the truck. Abandon the truck. I'm going to go over here and try something else. This is how this thing begins to come unraveled.
It's the domino effect.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another.
So, folks, let's get real. start thinking smart, pick up the phone and call Ronnie McMullen at 928-308-0408. Okay? 928-308-0408. Getting good quality supplements to your... Because, look, I like pork and beans. I'm just going to say something. I like pork and beans. What if that's what I'm going to eat, really? A lot of pork and beans, maybe some corn, put the corn out of a can. Maybe I'm going to eat some Spam, which I would hate to even thought of it. Maybe you see what I'm saying? Maybe I realize...
I'll pray for you.
maybe I need to have a little help, and I'm saying this very, very, very seriously, to think about how you're going to maintain the appropriate nutrition and supplements in your body. Ronnie, am I wrong here?
No, you're right. My stuff's organic and non-GMO, at least everything that can be. And the reason I say that is because when the organic section at the store goes bye-bye, it's some of them, it's already happening. That means you are subject to GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms, which means other things are going in your body that is not of God. So those change you from the inside out. So I had a doctor tell me one time, if things really, really got bad, you could take supplements and water and make it. Wow. So that to me was a big deal. Would I want to? No, but things are changing, people. And, I'm one of those people that gear up for the worst. And then if it's not the worst, people say, I'm not going to, get extra water, or I'm not going to have extra food. Well, that's fine. But, if you do, and all of a sudden things are not that bad, you just eat off your freezer. Life's good. You save some money for a couple months.
Right. Now, we haven't had a big snowstorm yet, Ronnie. So let's throw these factors in. Cold, dark winter. Let's just say that there is some brutal storms that's going to hit in the Northeast, Midwest, the Rockies, what have you. People, you know what they do? They're going to rush to the store and buy what they can to get through the storm. They're afraid. Imagine the shelves already 30% depleted before that even starts. You can see what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And then people it's going to look like Russia under the old Soviet Union. Communism doesn't work, and really that's what's happening, I think, in Washington right now, is we have a total mentality, a communistic mentality of how to take control of a world, and not just a nation, but a world. You do it by food rationing, withholding the food and supplies. Just hold it back a little more. They got to feel it. I remember Kamala Harris saying these words. They need to feel it.
Yeah.
American people need to feel it.
And here's the thing, too, and I could be out of line for saying this, but a lot of people, they blame China. And I do not believe it's China's fault. And I'll just say this on a couple of different levels. Communist China, yes. And we have some people working with communist China. But China, make sure you understand this, China does not like communist China.
No. The Chinese people hate.
They're good people.
They're good people. They hate their government.
Good people, and we're good people.
Yes.
So if, and I say, and this is the same thing with people in London. Australia is getting their butt kicked right now. I was notified that I cannot send anything to Australia; it would be confiscated.
I can't either. I was just told.
And I can go on that I
can't ship
say
anything
because we're limited in our speech.
Right. I can't ship anything to Australia no more. That's it.
Nope.
You won't get it.
Nope.
They won't.
So what does that say? Are those people going to be gone? I mean,
what does that mean?
Are they going to be deleted?
We're supposed to be. These are modern nations. This isn't third world country. This is modern. Real. This isn't Zimbabwe. This is Australia.
No. Yes, they have cars and everything.
I mean,
but the point is we blame the wrong people. If Chinese people woke up and said we are under communist crud, and if the American people said we're under communist crud, and if England and London said we're under communist crud, and Australia said we could overthrow all this bad stuff.
Yep.
But until we stand up with a voice, we're unfortunately, I would say we're doomed.
We're paddling. We're dog paddling in the deep water, and we're trying to figure out can we fix this thing? And we're the only ones that can, folks. We're the only ones that can. Ronnie,
we're in a canoe with no paddle.
No paddle.
It's time for us to bend over and use our hands and get out of this.
Get the tea.com, guys. If nothing else. Get the